Hello, and welcome to Talking Ship. I'm Rosie with Cherry Moon Travel, and today this is all about the first time cruiser. Some seasoned cruisers may find it useful too, but this is geared for first time cruisers, have never been on a ship, and all the terminology that you're going to hear. So, this is cruise terms, things you're going to hear while you're walking around the ship before you get on, and may be useful. So I started cruising back in 2002. I didn't have an agent, I didn't have an advisor, I didn't have any of that to help me. And it was a bit of a struggle. I had a wonderful time. My first cruise was absolutely fabulous. I took my daughter to celebrate her 5th birthday. So I had a lot of fun, but everything leading up to it and some of the things that happened on board, I was not really prepared for. I way overpacked, and I just wish I had had someone to give me some guidance before I went. So that is what these segments are going to be about. They're going to be about tips and tricks to help you to relieve the stress and anxiety. I see so many people asking questions in groups. They're nervous, they're worried, they don't know what things mean. So that is why I have put this together to help you. I read those questions, I respond to them. However, I just thought it would be easier to come on and talk about them. So today we're going to get into cruise terms. Terminology is the terminology of the ship itself. You're going to hear things. It's going to be a big help knowing where you are on the ship and how to get around. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the bow. The bow is the very front of the ship. You may hear people say the bows of the ship, but that means like way down in the bottom. But the bow of the ship is the very front. The stern is the opposite end, the very back of the ship. So if you hear bow, you're at the front, stern is at the back. Another thing you'll hear is forward. Forward is very, very important when you're trying to get around on the ship. If your dining room is level 5 forward, then what you want to do is you want to go down and head towards the fish for the front of the ship on the 5th level. So go down to 5 and head towards the ship. Depending on the layout of the ship, sometimes you can't go down and cross and go all the way across the ship, so you may have to maneuver around, but make your way towards the front and down to the 5th level. With that, if it's in the 5 aft, that means it's in the back of the ship. So you want to do the total opposite. You want to go towards the back of the ship. And when you're on the ship, they have it posted which direction is which. So if you come down to a level right by the stairs and elevators, they'll have signs on the wall that'll say forward is this way and aft is that way. So they make it easy for you to get around, but it does help to know what that means. The other term is port side. Port side is the left side of the ship if you're facing towards the front. That it means exactly that. That's the side that typically when you pull into port is where you are. So you come down and you get off. You can see the port if you're on a deck or you have a balcony or a suite. You can see the port there. However, I have been on ships where I've been on the port side, but we backed into the port. So the port was actually on the starboard side, which is the right side of the ship. So if the ship backs in to the port, you may actually be on the starboard side. So a good way to know the starboard from the port side also is the even number cabins are on the port side. The odd number cabins are on the starboard side. So when you book your cruise, if you want to be on the port side and hopefully they pull in and it's always on the left, then make sure you get an even number cabin. If you want to be on the port side where you wake up, you come out on your balcony, you see the sun rising and hear the ocean and it's beautiful, then book an odd number cabin so that you're on the starboard side. Now, again, as I want to caveat that. So it's not always the case, but typically that's how you know starboard from the port. So also bridge. Bridge is where the captain is. He's guiding the ship from there. So you see that little arrow there into that area. That's where the captain is. So he'll introduce himself. He'll address you every day. The captain from the bridge. He'll give you the weather conditions, where we are, and how things are going, and keep you abreast of how everything is going. So, captain is in charge of the ship. So he's there to make sure you get from A to B safely and that all the passengers and the crew are safe. So that's his job. The galley. The galley is where food preparation takes place. It's where the magic happens. So all the food that you get on the ship is down prepared in the galley. So you can take tours there and go and see all that goes into. I've actually done one, and to see the operation that's going on down there, because you just go to the buffet and everything's laid out, and or you go to dinner and your food's brought out to you. But it's an amazing, it amazes me. First of all, everything that happens on a ship amazes me because it's such a, so many moving parts and thousands of people. And you go down the galley though and see all the food prep. It's amazing. So if you ever can do a galley tour, I would highly recommend it. The funnel, Carnival Cruise Line has the most iconic funnel. That's the red and blue on the back, or about, midship sometimes, depending on the ship. But that's the big red and blue. So on this ship, the funnel is the yellow with the C on it, and that stands for Costa Cruises. It's a Costa line, Costa, if you want to say, and Costa. And this is a Costa ship, but it is now been brought into the Carnival fleet, and it's the Firenze, and it's phenomenal. So, but that is the funnel. One thing is the gangway. The gangway is the area that you come through, or when you're in port, you get on and off the ship that way. So when you're in the terminal, you go that nice winding stair. It's like the walk, and I get so excited going up there. But when you're in port, they drop it down, and it's a ramp that takes you down to the port, and that's how you get on and off the ship. Guest services. Guest services is where you go to get any help that you need. There will be a purser there. Purser is the person that handles the money. So if you're having an issue with your account, you go see the purser at guest services. So it used to be called the purser's desk when I first started cruising, but now it's called guest services. But if you have any issues, that's who you go and see. Embarkation. Embarkation is getting on the ship. So the first day, that's like the most exciting moment. It's your first time getting on. And if you're a first time cruiser, it's amazing. You're overwhelmed with excitement. And embarkation is when you get on. Disembarkation is usually sad. It's at the end of the ship, but you also disembark when you get to port. So, but we typically, the last day, you're disembarking. So that's when everyone's getting off. And that's something you need to know. Embarkation, get on. Disembarkation is getting off. A port of call. Port of call is your destination. So if you read your itinerary or you're picking a cruise and it says port of call, that means the port that you're going to visit on your cruise. So if you're doing a Western Caribbean and it says port of call is Jamaica, then that's where it's going to stop in most cases. Weather-related things can happen, so sometimes they have to change the itinerary, and but typically your itinerary tells you what the ports of call are. Shore excursions. Shore excursions are the activities you're going to do when you get off the ship at port. You can book them in advance. You can book them on board. There is a shore excursions desk there. You get off the ship when you get into port, and there'll be someone down there to guide you where to meet your group and your tour guide to have a wonderful day at port. Tender. If you see tender, that means that the ship cannot dock at the port itself. It may be too shallow. Ships are getting bigger and bigger, so a lot of the ports cannot accommodate these large ships. So they will dock and anchor out in the ocean. And then you'll get on a vessel that will actually take you into the port. So they can fit a lot of people on there. But one thing you want to remember is there is a time when the tenders stop running. So if you ever get off and decide to go do your own thing, make sure you do not miss the last tender back to the ship. That's very, very important. I'm going to do a whole thing on shore excursions and talk about that, because a lot of people have their opinions on how they want to spend their cruise, and that's their choice. But I do have some recommendations there, and I'll cover that in something in another segment. Lido is on a Carnival ship where all the fun happens. So it's where the pools are. There's bars, food, activities going on throughout the day. It's where the sail away party takes place, and the line dancing. So I do not miss a line dance or a sail away party on a Carnival cruise. It will change your life. So let's see what else. We want to make sure that you know who the cruise director is. You'll learn that who they are very early on. They are your MC for the week. So you get on, they're responsible for all the activities, all the entertainment that takes place on the ship. And they will address you also every day. They will let you know what's on the itinerary for the day and what you can do. They'll come on periodically and make announcements if there's changes, or just as friendly reminders of something you don't want to miss. Porter is takes your luggage when you arrive at the cruise ship terminal, and they also take it off for you when you arrive back home. So that's another whole thing. I've been seeing so many conversations about things with cruises that I want to actually talk about. They're just going to be my opinions and my experiences. But the porters work really hard. It's a lot of luggage. There's thousands of people get on and off. They'll handle your luggage. Please take care of them. And the last thing is knot. You'll hear the captain say, you know, how many knots we're going. Knot just means how many nautical miles we're going per hour. So not really key a point, but you'll probably hear it. I'm just trying to go over terms you may hear while you're on the ship, just to help you understand what it means. So I hope you found this helpful. And if you did, please subscribe, because this is the first of many segments that I'm going to do and explain my experiences and my knowledge of what I have acquired on the 20 some years that I've been cruising. I took my first cruise and I got hooked, like most people do. So I'm about to embark on my 25th, I think it is, I'm up to. So hopefully some of these tips will help. And I would love to hear from people and maybe have people come in and talk about their experiences. That would be great. So stay tuned for more. If you want to be informed, please subscribe, and you will know when these videos are uploaded. And I am here to help you if you are looking to celebrate on a cruise. So I specialize in celebrations at sea. So your birthday, your anniversary, your reunions, your corporate retreats, your wedding and honeymoon, retirement parties, anything of that nature where you are celebrating a major life event on a cruise ship. I would love to help you. Please reach out. I'm here to help you any way I can. And I look forward to working with you. Have a great day and happy sailing.